Okay, today I will help myself with animation from the ABC Zoom Color Vision Concepts, Retinas and Light. I would like you to like those videos. Yes, like, subscribe, anything like that. Okay, so let's start. As usually, I would add some comments from my... let's go.
See things when light coming from them reaches the back surface of our eyes, called the retina. But we can only see colour on...
So, retina is this surface of the eye. So when you would peek into the eye through the iris, yes, the first thing that you would see is retina. Yes, so retina is the most superficial layer. Yes, it's the inner surface of the eye, the most superficial layer from the perspective of the light. Yes, if you would, yeah, let's not overcomplicate this. Generally, from the perspective, when we look just through the iris, we would see the retina. Okay, and in retina we have all of those cells that you were answering me about, so rods and cones and something more.
a small patch of the retina called the fovea. The fovea has millions of cone cells, and it's the...
Okay, so fovea is very important. Fovea is the place on the retina when we have the highest concentration of the cones. Yes, so the sharpest vision that we have can be achieved through activating the fovea.
cone cells that give us colour vision. There are 3 types of cone cell. Each can detect either red, green or blue light. When a cone...
So obviously, as you said, these are the cells specialized in color vision. And by using those 3 mentioned colors, we can combine them into all of the colors. Yes, you can also peek very closely to some old television and see that those 3 colors, so red, green and blue, are also on television. Yes, so generally combining those 3 colors, we can create all of the possible colors. Yes, in at least, of course, in visible spectrum. The same is in our eyes.
cone cell gets hit by photons of the right coloured light, it sends a signal to the brain that's like 1 colour pixel in the image we see. But
Exactly. So when the light ray would get through the retina, would get into the sorry, would get through the iris and would get onto the retina, the photon can activate the specialized cells, yes, the rod or the cone. Now we are talking about cones because we are looking at the fovea. The fovea is the place where you have an extremely high density of the cones. So the cells that are specialized in the color vision.
how does a cone cell detect photons of light? It all happens because of a tiny crooked molecule called retinal that's hidden in the membrane folds of the cone cells. These membranes have proteins called opsins embedded in them, and every one of those proteins is holding tight to a molecule of retinal. Retinal has got a bit of a kink in its tail. The kink happens at one of the double bonds in the molecule. If a photon of the right coloured light hits that double bond, the retinal molecule straightens up. Let's see that in slow motion. The photon's energy gets absorbed by one of the electrons in the double bond. With that electron energised, the double bond is like a single bond for a split second, and the retinal molecule suddenly has the energy to swing the crooked tail around the bond and straighten up. Using the energy for the tail swinging means the electron comes back down to normal energy, locking the new shape.
So one more time, when the electron would attack this molecule will change the shape. And that this change of shape can be registered by our body. So one more time, photon is activating this molecule. Yes, the molecule changes shape. The cell is recognizing this change in shape, and thanks to this it can recognize that some photon hit it. Yes, because it's not so obvious how to recognized that some photon was shining on the sun. Yes.
Shape in place. That tiny straightening movement in retinal causes a rejig in the shape of the protein. And that bit of molecular shape-shifting is enough to kickstart a chemical chain reaction in the cell that causes an electrical signal to shoot through it and some nearby neurons and straight off to the brain, where some quick adding up of millions of reds, greens and blues gives us the full colour image of the world we see.
Okay, the idea behind the cones is very similar. However, the cones, as you have mentioned, are only for black and light vision. Also, what is important, cones are more in the periphery of our retina. So, when we are looking straight onto something, we are mainly using our fovea. But on the periphery of our vision, we are mainly using the rods. Yes. There was also some trick used by the rangers, for example, that if there is dark and you want to spot some movements, you are not looking directly onto it, but a bit sideways. Yes, because the rods are better in seeing at night, are better, also a bit better in spotting movements generally. Okay, so I suppose for now it's enough. Thank you very much.